Welcome to Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom. Stay informed with quick, easy-to-listen summaries of our latest articles, perfect for when you're on the go. No reading required. Subscribe for free at mercola.com for the latest health insights.
High blood pressure quietly erodes your arteries day after day. So, what if something as simple as egg whites could drop your systolic reading by nearly 18 points in just 9 days? Welcome to Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom. I'm Ethan Foster, and alongside me is Alara Sky. Today we explore new research showing how specific proteins in humble egg whites can support your circulation without the side effects attached to most pressure-lowering drugs.
Hypertension rarely announces itself until a stroke or heart attack forces you to pay attention, yet scientists now trace a direct line from egg white peptides to relaxed arteries and higher nitric oxide output. Those peptides work with your own biology, lowering pressure naturally instead of forcing it down the way medication often does.
A study published in Food Materials Research removed the protein ovotransferrin from egg whites to see whether the remaining mix still helped. In rats bred for lifelong hypertension, 9 days of that modified egg white blend lowered systolic pressure by almost 18 points, from 178 to around 160, showing rapid, clinically meaningful change.
That dramatic drop happened because the peptides boosted nitric oxide-producing enzymes, calmed kidney signals that raise pressure, and eased inflammatory markers in the aorta. Even without ovotransferrin, the antioxidant effect grew stronger, proving the rest of the egg white proteins can shield your vessels from oxidative stress on their own.
A second experiment asked whether people allergic to eggs could still benefit. Researchers treated egg whites with food-grade enzymes, bromelain from pineapple and papain from papaya, breaking the proteins into smaller, easier-to-digest pieces. Over 28 days, hypertensive rats fed that enzyme-treated powder kept steady, healthy pressure, while untreated animals shot up by more than 30 points.
Mechanistically, the enzyme-treated version lowered angiotensin II, the hormone that tightens arteries, and raised nitric oxide, encouraging vessels to open. Laboratory tests on human mast cells showed minimal histamine release, meaning the treated whites avoided allergic reactions that whole eggs sometimes trigger, important if you're sensitive to egg proteins.
Not every egg delivers the same cardiovascular lift. Conventional eggs from hens fed corn and soy-based rations are packed with linoleic acid, or LA, a polyunsaturated fat that inflames arteries and blocks nitric oxide. Eating more than 4 such eggs a day likely pushes you past the 5-gram LA ceiling recommended for vascular health.
Pasture-raised eggs, or those from flocks fed custom low LA blends, solve that problem. When hens roam for bugs, greens, and natural forage, they lay whites rich in helpful peptides, yet low in inflammatory fats. Farms using that approach provide a practical route to egg whites that reinforce, rather than cancel, your pressure-lowering goals.
Start with food, not supplements. Keep the whites every time you cook whole eggs and prepare them gently, poached, soft-boiled, or lightly scrambled. Because high heat can damage the very peptides you need, gentle cooking preserves structure while giving you the full 8-gram protein dose per white.
Pair those whites with nitric oxide boosters, fresh beet salad, roasted beets, or a wedge of ripe watermelon supply compounds that your body converts into more nitric oxide, multiplying the vessel-relaxing signal already sparked by egg peptides. Simple habits like brisk walking, slow nasal breathing, and early morning sunlight do the same.
Egg whites are high in tryptophan, the amino acid your body converts to serotonin. To balance that, increase glycine intake. Homemade bone broth, slow-cooked shanks, or collagen-rich stews provide glycine that tempers the effects of excess tryptophan and supports connective tissue repair at the same time.
The cooking fat you choose matters as much as the eggs themselves. Vegetable oils loaded with LA, soy, corn, sunflower, drive oxidative stress that blocks nitric oxide signaling. Switch to tallow, ghee, or grass-fed butter. Those stable fats withstand heat, keep inflammatory pathways quiet, and let egg peptides perform without obstruction.
Put all 5 pillars together, and you have a coherent daily strategy. Gentle egg white cooking, pasture-raised sourcing, nitric oxide-rich produce, glycine support, and stable animal fats. Each pillar reinforces the others, delivering a multi-angle approach that respects how you already regulate pressure.
Listeners often ask how egg white peptides actually drop pressure. The answer is twofold. They lower angiotensin II so arteries don't tighten, and they raise nitric oxide so vessels actively relax. That dual action explains why numbers fall quickly, yet heart rate stays calm.
Another question. Do you need the whole white or just specific fractions? Research shows removing ovotransferrin leaves behind plenty of active peptides. The rest of the white still increases nitric oxide and reduces oxidative stress, so you don't need to isolate any one compound at home.
People also wonder whether the effect is real outside laboratories. In the 9-day rat model, the systolic drop approached 18 points, comparable to some drug regimens, without observed side effects. That fast shift suggests you can see measurable change within a single week of consistent practice.
What about egg type? Conventional factory-farmed eggs blunt benefits because of high LA. Pasture-raised options or eggs from hens foraging outdoors retain the peptides yet slash inflammatory fats, making them the clear choice if you want pressure support rather than pushback.
Adding egg whites to your routine is straightforward. Keep them when you cook breakfast. Simmer them gently, pair with beet or watermelon, and sip bone broth later in the day. Those simple steps align with evidence and slot easily into most kitchen rhythms.
The broader payoff includes more elastic arteries, reduced oxidative stress, and better kidney signaling, all achieved with foods you control rather than prescriptions you tolerate. When you manage LA intake and support nitric oxide simultaneously, the numbers often tell the story within days.
Consistency is the differentiator. When you repeat those choices every day, you reinforce vessel relaxation, keep inflammation low, and help your body maintain equilibrium instead of chasing symptoms. Track your readings to see how the pattern plays out for you personally.
One practical tip. If soft-boiled eggs feel inconvenient on busy mornings, prep them the night before, store them chilled, and rewarm briefly in hot water. The peptides stay intact, and you save time.
Likewise, consider separating whites in advance. Keep them refrigerated in a glass jar for up to 2 days. Then whisk them gently into soups or stir-fries cooked in ghee without exceeding the heat threshold that denatures peptides.
When combining whites with beet juice, aim for a half-cup serving. That amount delivers enough dietary nitrates to amplify nitric oxide output, complementing the peptide action we've discussed.
Remember, the fast pressure drop in studies appeared within 9 days, but follow-ups tracked improvements for almost a month, confirming benefits persist as long as intake stays consistent and LA exposure remains low.
For listeners tracking macronutrients, a pasture-raised egg white offers roughly 4 grams of protein and virtually no fat, so you can increase servings without overshooting daily caloric goals.
Finally, if you raise your own hens, rotating pasture and diversifying forage, grasses, clover, insects, naturally produces lower LA eggs and supports animal welfare, closing the loop between your food choices and cardiovascular resilience.
Here's your 7-day challenge. Each morning this week, save the whites from pasture-raised eggs, cook them softly, add a serving of beets or watermelon, use tallow, ghee, or grass-fed butter for cooking, and include 1 cup of homemade bone broth by sundown. Record your blood pressure readings before you start and after day 7 to see the difference. Thank you for watching Dr. Mercola's Cellular Wisdom. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe now and click the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.